It is Makeup by K1, and today I thought I would do a video on my eye primers. I do have 3, and I just wanted to go in depth on, I will just go in depth on each of them because there are pros and cons to each one, and I will definitely emphasize which one is my absolute favorite of the 3. So let's get started. So the first one is the e.l.f. Shadow Lock Eyelid Primer, and this is about $1 at your local drugstore. I get mine at Target. I get all my drugstore makeup at Target. But anyways, it just has, is the word spoolie? Not spoolie. Doe foot applicator, that's what it is. Looks like this, and this was my first eye primer ever because it was cheap and I didn't want to go spend tons of money on makeup when I was first getting into it because I didn't know what to get exactly. But I knew that I needed an eye primer, and honestly, I think this is a very good eyelid primer. I mean, of the 3, of the other 2, it's not my favorite, but I will say it does go on very smooth. It does get tacky, and that can be really annoying, especially when applying eyeshadow. Like, it just feels really sticky and stuff. But as for wearing power, it lasts me probably about I'd say 3 or 4 hours. So that's a good amount of time. It's not the best, obviously, because I mean, it could be better, and I wear makeup at least 8 to 12 hours throughout the whole day, so I definitely I'd want it to last a lot longer. But for if you're starting out with makeup, I would definitely suggest this because it really isn't a bad eyelid primer. And as for creasing, I haven't noticed creasing with this, so that's a plus. So yeah, that's with the e.l.f. one. The next one is the Wet n Wild eyelid primer, and this is the Fergie one. It's the Take on the Day eyeshadow primer, and the applicator is just like a, I don't know, like just a regular nozzle, I don't know. As for this one, I think they both are like skin tone colors, but when you blend them in, they go clear. Like, it's not like they stay a skin tone color. So if you want an eyelid primer that blurs all of your veins or discoloration on your eye, these won't do the trick. These are just eyelid primers, and they don't specifically do that, but they I will say, of the 2, the Wet n Wild is my favorite because it lasts the longest. I think this lasts me about 6-7 hours, so that's still not the best, but that's a lot longer than 3 or 4 hours. So yeah. As for creasing, this one does not crease. I haven't noticed any creasing with this. It does kind of have a little sticky finish, but not so much. But my main con with this, and I just recently noticed it, like, I've been using this for over a month now, and I just noticed it. When you put it on your eye, you need to blend it in, because when I tried to blend it after a couple seconds, like, I blended it, then I went to get something out of my makeup drawer, and it had already dried and a little bit. So when I went to blend it, it started clumping, and it all like formed into a clump, and it looked like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like it was like a piece of tape, like it just all came off, like it just all clumped together in this one clump, and it just went into like a little ball. Like, it did not stay on my eye. So you need to blend it in right away, because if you don't, like, if you want it to go up to here or whatever, blend it and don't do anything else, just blend it and then put your eyeshadow on. Like, don't even look away for a second, because when it sets, and you cannot move it around because it will clump. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. It's terrible. And I was trying to move it around, and it just like gave up on me. It's kind of like super glue almost. Like it goes on, it's kind of sticky, but if you move it around, like, yeah, it'll stay, but like not super glue. More like just like Elmer's glue, like the liquid glue. It just, like, you know, when like you had it on your hands or whatever you're doing crafts, like when you were younger, and you would like move it around and it would kind of like come together. That's what this does if you don't blend it out right away. So that's the only comment I have with this, and it's a real turnoff, actually. Like, I don't even know if I want to use this anymore because I'm afraid this is going to happen again. And the last one is the Sonia Kashuk Extreme Wear Eye Primer, and it looks like this. And I got this because I didn't have money at the time to get the MAC paint pot, and I'm still deciding on whether to get the Painterly one or the soft ochre. I'm thinking soft ochre. I mean, I think Painterly is more pink toned, I guess. I mean, they're really close in color, but they're still a little different, and I guess it really depends on your skin tone. But I got this because this was only $10, so a little less than half because the paint pots are $22, but you still get about the same amount of product, and it's in a really cute container, and it looks like this. It's just a really creamy formula, and I've heard that this is more creamy than the paint pot, and I haven't tried it yet, but I mean, I haven't tried the paint pot yet, is what I meant. So as for this, it's perfect for discoloration. So if you have like veiny eyelids or anything that just makes your eyelid look like a different color than the rest of your face, this totally covers it, and that's why people use the paint pots, because it does a great job of covering that. So yeah, I will give it that. It does... it takes about 2 minutes to set, so that's, if you're like in a rush, I wouldn't suggest this, because 2 minutes is not that long, but if you only have 5 minutes to get ready, like, don't waste your time on this. Just put on like a regular one like this or whatever. The thing that really irked me, if that's a word, I've heard it before, about this one is that it creased. And with these two that are so much cheaper, I think this was $3, this was $1, this was $1, I know that for sure. This is $10, and it creased, and the other two didn't, and I was really pissed about that, because, and I thought like maybe I just didn't let it set enough, but I tried it another day, and I gave it about 5 minutes, and it felt perfectly fine. Like, it didn't feel like anything was there, and it felt nice. So I went with my makeup, and I mean, obviously your crease is going to be there no matter what, but it actually creased, like, you know what I mean? It just, like, all of the eyeshadow, like, when I closed my eyes, it was just like skin tone in my crease. Like, it just all went away in my crease area, and I didn't notice that with the other ones. So, and it really pisses me off because it wasn't that cheap, and second of all, like, I've heard it was a dupe for the paint pot, and I know that, I mean, I was going to get the paint pot regardless someday, but I thought this would be a nice alternative until I get it, and I mean, I'm still going to use it because it does everything I want to do until it creases. Like, it's perfect until it creases. It lasted me, I think, about 5 hours, so even less than the Wet n Wild one. I mean, my eyeshadow already started to fade too as well. That's another con. So, out of all of them, honestly, as much as I hate this one and what it does and the whole clumping thing, if you blend it out and you don't touch it after that and you just go in with your eyeshadow, it doesn't do that. It's only if you keep trying to blend it out after it is set. I'm honestly gonna say, like, I wish I could say this was my favorite, but honestly, I'm gonna have to say the Wet n Wild one is my favorite, because, I mean, this one's nice too, but this one isn't as sticky as this one, and it lasts so much longer. Like, my eyeshadows haven't budged when I wear this, and they don't fade, and they don't crease, and it does everything that it doesn't do in this one in a bad way. It does with this one, if that makes sense. Like, this creases, it fades the color, it's terrible. So, I mean, I'm still going to use all of them no matter what. I've actually been using this to prime my brows before I do them, and I've liked that a lot better, so I'm going to probably just use this for my brows and this for my eye. As for this, I'll work with it, but, I mean, I've already tried it 6 times already, and if it's creasing every time, then it clearly is not a good primer. So that's my video. It's probably the shortest one on here so far, but I just wanted to talk to you guys about these because I thought it was important, and I know people have a lot more than me, but these are my only ones, and I just thought it was important to talk about those. And I hope that you guys got a good idea of which one's better. Obviously this one, in my opinion. I mean, people might have really good results with this and might be like, what are you talking about creasing? I've never had that problem. Like, it's just different with everyone. I don't have oily eyelids either. My eyelids are just, they're not oily, they're not dry, they're just there. They're just normal, I guess. So I think it's just either I got a bad batch or it's just the product. And I hope people agree with me on this. Like, I hope I'm not the only one that thinks this is bad, but yeah. So that's all for my video. I will talk to you guys later. Bye.